Good morning. It is June the 2nd, 2020, and I decided to hop back on and do a short video. Things are moving so quickly in the country right now that I wanted to see what suggestions could be given spiritually at a deep core level of being. So I'm going to use the soul cards today, and I just want to the main message that I was getting before I got this reading started was that what we're being shown right now, whether it's through COVID, whether it's through the Black Lives Matter situation, or whether it's through the losing of jobs, is that we have reached a period in history, in the time of our country, where we have to become the president of the country ourselves. In other words, we have to find our own spiritual autonomy, which will then lead us to a deeper understanding of the oneness of all of life. And that oneness of all of life will lead us to help each other in a variety of situations, be it solving COVID, making sure that we sustain healthcare for all, helping others that are going through a very rough patch right now. I know in my readings that people are really, really suffering right now, and we need to be there for each other. What we're seeing right now at a leadership level in the country is a contrast between the narcissist on the one side and the empath on the other. Now, we may not totally like all the qualities of either being, but at this time, and if you return back in my videos to my video on Joe Biden, which I did about before the COVID problem, I noticed then that really it was the choice between the narcissist and the healer. And his chart, having 6 water signs, was symbolic of somebody that lives completely in the heart center. May not come across as an intellectual, but will definitely come across as the empath. Because we've had such a lack of empathy at every level of government right now, be it in the prison systems, be it in the Attorney General, or in the ideas about universal health care for all, or in the children at the borders. All of this has been a narcissistic grab for power. Narcissism and power, and the need for adulation and a constant flow of attention, contrasting with someone who has suffered through tremendous losses of 2 children and his wife, and had to raise 2 little boys on his own until he met his present mate. That this contrast is where we are right now, and it's obvious that the pendulum has gone way, way from one side to the other. So we had first the President Barack Obama representing a man that had come from modest means to become the first Black president. And because the country still has a lot of racism, we couldn't even vote in a fully Black president. We took one that was half Black, because his charisma and his eloquence and his education and his capability to wisely sum up different situations really appealed to us after the impulsiveness and lack of organizational intellectual structure of the president prior to that, George W. Bush. So America has this strong predilection to move from extremes to extremes. So we chose somebody professorial, somebody who had, well, I think George Bush had a solid, good marriage. We chose somebody with an impeccable background of integrity and family life and respect and fidelity to his wife. We went from that to the polar opposite of somebody that operated totally off what he calls his gut instinct and his knowing, which he said was far superior than any kind of intellectual prowess, to a space of wild incitement. Now we are exhausted. We have been watching this day after day after day for 3.5 years, and we're tired, and we want stability again, and we see that we have lost our reputation and our standing in the world as a leader because we have been leaderless. Just looking at how the COVID was handled, how the job disaster, there's absolutely no solutions or plans being put forward about jobs. And now we have the Black Lives Matter in the situation with the police, and there's been no responsibility taken for the role of the law in this tragedy and prior tragedies. So now we're going to swing again from the absolutely detached, self-serving narcissist over to the empath. Because right now the deepest need of the country is healing. Healing within our own selves, healing in our communities, healing amongst the nationalities that live within the borders of the United States, healing about how we approach immigration, healing about how we take responsibility for all being capable to receive medical attention, healing worldwide with all the countries that we have stepped on their toes, and a restoration of balance and harmony. So having studied Joe Biden's chart deeply, he has the exact chart for that. And that is why people right now, they just want to nestle with Grandpa Joe and feel his experience, his 40 years experience, and that he has knowledge to put the right people in the right positions and that he cares. I think number one, it's that they feel he cares. They'll forgive him any gaffes because he cares. Just like you would forgive your parents gaffes that they may say about you because you know they sincerely love you and care about you. It's the same feeling. So I just like to know what's going to go on now with this situation in our country over the next week. Using the soul cards today, they have no words or numbers on them. They're strictly cards of expressiveness of the soul. And I do agree with Joe Biden that this election is about the battle for the soul of America. But I'm also hearing in my core that we as individuals are being called upon to discover and to enlarge and to live out the expression of our own godliness, to add to the goodness out there right now in the world, and to become president of our own small domain, and not to blame others for situations, but more to become resourceful and self-reflective and make changes and let go of what was, because things are going to be very challenging over the next year. As we discussed, we have that Pluto return coming up for the United States, and we can feel its impact strongly already. So this is the card that I got for where we are right now and what our role is right now. This is the person of great creative abilities. This person is turning to their own, they've got their eyes closed, they're turning inward, their hand is on the heart, they're listening to the heart, and they're in a state of creation of a new existence. This is you, this is me, this is all of us. We must recreate our attitudes. We must throw out the nonsense and the prejudice and the antagonism, and we must become more embodying the divine feminine, which is the healer, which is the empath, that part of ourselves that is tender and merciful and forgiving and helpful and holy and sacred. What is coming up in the country over the next week? The torch is being handed to us. And notice it's a woman carrying the torch. So it's the divine feminine carrying the answer for us, and lighting the way. Women are going to be the ones ultimately that save this country, or the divine feminine within man developing that aspect of himself and throwing out the bully and the chauvinist and the misogynist and drawing on the magnificent tender heart that exists also within man. And this woman has got wings, so she's in an elevated state of consciousness. She has the torch, fire being the fire of spirit. It's a baton. She's been passed the baton to lead us out of this. So you just watch how many women are going to step forward with solutions. And the woman that Joe Biden chooses is going to be very symbolic of where the country's going to head, because his being 77, coming up 78 in November, he doesn't know, and he's already had one aneurysm many years ago. He doesn't know how long he'll be president. So his choice of a vice president, and he's already said it will be a female, probably a female of color, she is going to be the one that carries forth the torch. And if you think about that torch, it's also the United States. It's the Statue of Liberty. It's a female symbol. And so that card of the woman carrying the torch is also very symbolic of the freedom of the Statue of Liberty. And so freedom is going to become very high on our agenda over the next week. You're going to hear a lot of people talking about personal freedom. And it's up to us to express how we feel about that. How do we feel yesterday about the National Guard landing on top of a group of peaceful protesters and throwing tear gas at them and taking horses and moving them like cattle out of the way so that the president can have a photo op in front of a church that he was not even invited to attend or to use as a prop. So that's coming up over the next week. You hold that image in your heart and mind and soul of the Statue of Liberty, of the divine feminine carrying the torch. Find that in yourself. Carry the torch, speak out, but don't speak out negatively with criticism. Speak out with a new vision. Speak out with what your ideas are of how you think the present situations should be solved. Help others. Bring your light of being to others. I'm going to go to the week after that. The this is the card of the way things are right now. Letting go. This person is got a completely wide open body form. It's like that. It's just like, I'm letting it all go. Because the new is about to come in with that solar eclipse on the 21st of June. So first we're formulating the new vision, that we're letting go of all that has been in a negative way, and we're just saying, God, use me, bless me into service. And that would be an amazing prayer every morning, to just get up, hold your arms out, open up your heart. Dear God, bless me into service. Use me, use my intellect, use my heart. Fill me with your wisdom, with your grace, and let me contribute to the greater goodness on earth right now. This is our time to bring forth all those years that we've worked on ourselves in order to bring forth to find the deeper wells of goodness, and goodness coming from the divine source flowing into our magnificent soul. And our magnificent soul, if we listen, guiding us as we walk in the world. So we become expanded souls, radiating the light from our being. You'll notice that I cut my hair a little bit today. I always do that when we go through some rite of passage in the country or in my home or some kind of situation. It just feels really great and really free and kind of androgynous. So that's who I am. All right. And the final thing, taking us into the third week of the up to the 21st and the solstice and the solar eclipse in Cancer. Cancer being the ruling sign of our country. So expect a big shift on the 21st. Well, this is really, really interesting and beautiful. This is us looking at, I would say, looking at ourselves and not judging others, looking at ourselves and the parts of ourselves, almost like we're looking into the depths of our soul. We're saying, what is in there? What is my gift? What has been inspiring? What has my soul been longing for me to add unto society at this time? Because at this moment, these times, we knew when we came to the earth that we would deal with these times. The old saying, it was written, but how we react to what was written, that is within our control. So this person is looking at themselves with a lot of compassion, because without self-forgiveness, self-love, and self-understanding, we are not able to give that to others. So what is the solstice? What is the, to end on the 21st? So that third week, there's a lot about self-reflection and pulling out those parts of ourselves that have laid dormant in our life and putting it forward into society. We're really going to be looking at ourselves and how we can best contribute. It's about contribution right now. It's about speaking out. It's about being out there and marching if that speaks to your heart. It's about writing about it on Facebook. It's about living it. It's about helping others. It's about adding unto. So the solstice, what will the card be? the day after the solstice for the solar eclipse. Out of the wells of deep contemplation, we have gone to the roots of our own being. We have become the inward thinker. We have become the one whose roots are connected to the roots of all of life, to all beings on life, to Mother Earth. We have become in a deeper understanding of our connection to everything. And with that, we are going to experience some kind of renewal, some kind of sense of joy. Because when you go into the center of your being and you stand back like that eagle we talked about yesterday, go into the center of your being, you find that you are looking at everything not from a good, evil aspect, but more from an overall understanding of where our world is heading and your participation in that expression. So I would like to end there. I would like to leave you with a deep wells of love in my heart. And if you look up behind me, you will see a picture of our beloved flower fairy who is very close to transition. And this was a painting that my son George, who's a great artist, did of flower fairy when she was stronger and healthier. And she always has, even in her times of great feebleness, she always has the sweetest of smiles on her face and thinks, how can I give, even in this moments of leaving, how can I give? Last night, she was lying in her bed and I lay down with her, put my arms around her because she wasn't settling, and held her beautiful head close to my heart and told her all the things that I adore about her and all the gratefulness I felt in my soul for her participation in our life. And maybe for me, she is my teacher that no matter who has done what to whom, we need to have that capacity to love and have empathy even while we're leaving our body. Let's develop that angelic mercy. Let's send that love to each other, to all of life. Thank you. Be safe. If you would like a reading, contact me at angelicmercy44@gmail.com. I'm here for you. I love you all. And I'm as much a part of your story as you're a part of mine. Thank you. God bless you. God be with you. Let's find that part and let's carry it out there. Having trouble ending this.